Hi. So, as you guys can see, I brought this forth in the group that I went to just to see what the women's opinions were because it was just women. Luckily, it was no men that tonight. So, I cropped the other information out so like it still maintains the privacy of other people because it's confidential. But and it's this is something that I said, so I didn't show anyone else or whatever. But I just showing this because I other another lady in response to this, she said something like I think she was Hispanic too, and she was also from Florida, but yeah, I think it was her or another woman. They said they've seen all kinds of people of color struggle with like self hate, and I just said that just to see what they're because they were talking about Oregon being a sundown place, like the sundown towns where you can't be caught out at night alive or whatever. But anyways, they don't do that as much anymore. They said just 100 years ago they just started letting black people come to Oregon, and the only reason we're here is because of my dad's relocation to his job back in 2006. So 2005, but the end of 2005, and then January 2006, we came here to Oregon, and I hated it here for the first 4 or 5 years. I did not want to be here, but because my family and I was like a teenager, I was like 13 going on 14 years old when we moved here, so that sucks. But I grew to love it because of the energy of the atmosphere of the nature. Like it was clear. The air felt clean and more clear because of the trees, all the oxygen, and the mountains and the beautiful. I'm a nature person, so it was like a dream come true as far as that stuff. But as far as like the racism of the people and the black people who are also racist too, I learned that they're whitewashed. And it was funny because there was even Mexican ladies saying the same thing, and she also said she dated a black man who only had white friends who all said the N-word, and she even knew that there was something wrong with that. That was kind of funny. I'm glad she was open like that and let us know, because then it made me realize the reason why these black men up here in Oregon, I'm pretty sure they do it in other places too, but up here in Oregon especially, they're so whitewashed and programmed and brainwashed that they don't love themselves. So anything that has to do with black women who they come from, I guess that's why they hate us, because they come from us and we're black and the world hates us. But I'm gonna show something else. I was gonna swipe the screen, but I don't want to compromise the privacy of other individuals if I quickly swipe and their name and stuff is up there, because I didn't want their information there. I wanted it to basically so I can crop it and it only be showing my information. But I did this so that I can show that I put this like just basically for what I'm doing now, so you can read it on the screen what I said, to show that I brought this forth in the group that I was in. But I just wanted to talk about. I told them that I make videos on YouTube talking about this type of stuff, and they were actually applauding that because it was something that a lot of people don't talk about openly, but everybody has their individual experiences about what they experience. So I was just wondering, I was like, well, based off of the history that I heard of Oregon, I didn't start learning about the history of Oregon until I think 2017 or 18 is when I started hearing that it was really racist. Like they didn't I read somewhere, I believe it was in 2019 or 20, when I read somewhere where how they had these trails that they brought slaves here on, and that's what made I guess that's how some of the trails were made that I went hiking on, like the Wildwood Trail and some other trails that they have that connect to the Wildwood Trail. But anyways, I was just thinking, like, now I see the reason why some of these black men in the world are rude and disrespectful to black women, so that they can have an excuse to go to date people outside of their nationality, is due to the projection of their self-hating of themselves, projecting it onto black women. Now it makes sense why they don't take responsibility for what they do, what they should be holding themselves accountable for, the mishaps that they also contribute to the black community, versus just us black women. Is we don't do it all on our own. like for instance, when I said something about how they love to say women should keep their legs closed, but what about the ones who do keep their legs closed, and then here you have some of your own black relative males trying to pry your legs open and then have the audacity to tell you to keep your legs closed, but then want to make sure they fuck their own family members, and they keep doing it, and they want to, and then when you don't allow them, when you get older, they want to act crazy towards you. They want to act ignorant and treat you like crap or whatever, or oh, like all of a sudden there's a stigma to you because of them. I don't know how further. I'm trying to avoid going into detail about, because something like that happened in my family with one of my cousins, and he was upset because when I got older, I was like, no. And I even told my mom about it. But of course, nobody in the family seemed to care. When I got older, I knew that those things were wrong. And I was like, why are they just letting it happen? It's like they don't give a damn. It's like they prefer it. I guess people get off on doing things that are perverse. So I was like, well, to each their own. But another thing I want to say before I ended this was that some of these black men here, now I see why they get with certain Caucasian women, white women who also don't like black women, and they both like come at us together. Meanwhile, he doesn't realize how she also can, if she's smart enough, she can see that he doesn't love himself, and kind of uses that against himself, against his will, not against his will, but for her advantage, I should say. That's why one time when a black man decided he had an encounter with me, he could tell I was respectful, and he was also kind of lustful too. So he kind of in a way betrayed her in front of her by helping a black woman out in front of her face. So she behaved as if it was not right. It was out of pocket for him to be so helpful to me while he's with a Caucasian woman. I was like, wow, these people, I was sad for her, because the fact that I noticed that about her, it showed me her frame of mind. So in reality, they would be thinking, oh, how dare you? Because, they're used to drilling that into the black community, like causing us to want to hate ourselves, because that the structure that they the structure that they created, where it's like institutionalized, structured engineering to cause black people to hate themselves and fight within amongst each other, so the system doesn't really have to do it like it did, and it already took place, and now other people I heard the shout out, but the other people, they still do racism with other people, but they themselves don't even know how they're programmed to their detriment as well, but they don't see that. And that's why, like I said in this group, I laugh at black men who try to talk down to black women to make them feel uplifted so that they can be honorable to someone who's not honorable to them, because they don't realize how they're projecting, and we can see that, and they don't know that we can see it, so they find other ways. And I'm not trying to bash on the black man, I'm just trying to say this because it's ridiculous, it's pitiful that there's even videos upon videos that they're talking trash about black women, but none of them are taking responsibility. I won't say that, because there are a couple that I remember back in 2016 where I saw a couple black men actually standing up for black women and telling these black men about themselves. So I take that back, and I commend those black men. But we need more of them, because there's too many foolish ones out here that are self-loathing haters that feel like just because they went and got a degree and that they have a nice body and they got a career, that gives them more fuel to put down the black woman. That you basically just helping to make your own self obsolete in a way, but you don't recognize that, and you don't see that. And I feel like they're so happy, they hate themselves so much so that they agree and they're happy to follow that agenda, because they're saying, well, then there won't have to be any more black men that hate themselves, that have to go through that pain of hating themselves. That's how I feel that they behave. So tell me what you guys think.